Hello all, I am P.W. Ingde working as an assistant professor at Sanjeevani College of Engineering, Kopargaon. Now today we will discuss about nuclear power plant. Now what are the advantages of nuclear? Why to go for nuclear power plant? First of all, there is no greenhouse gases emission, no pollution of air, little solid waste generated, and next is the important thing is 1 kg of uranium is equal to 200 tons of coal. So that's why we are going for nuclear power plant. So whatever will be the power produced by burning 20 tons of coal is equivalent to 1 kg is equivalent to power produced by 1 kg of uranium. Now there are some disadvantages. Capital cost is high, maintenance cost is high, then cost of decommissioning of plant is also high. There may be a risk of major accident. Nuclear waste disposal is a big problem. Now what do you mean by nuclear fission? So this is neutron. So neutron will be generated by neutron generator. This neutron will have bombardment on the target nucleus, that is suppose uranium. Then it will split into two nuclei. These are known as fission products along with energy and three neutrons. Now out of these three neutrons, one neutron again have a bombardment on another nucleus, and again there will be a two fission products along with neutrons. So this is nothing but nuclear fission. So when a neutron collide with a nucleus of certain fissile material, causing the original nucleus to split into two or more fragments along with energy of fission, this fission is accompanied by release of considerable energy. This is known as nuclear fission. If such a continuous reaction is controlled, it would result in a continuous release of energy at a steady state rate, and this reaction is known as chain reaction. So in short, neutron will be bombarded on this nucleus. It will be split into, this will be waste. So it will be undergo fission into two products along with neutrons, and again out of these three neutron, one neutron we can utilize to continue for nuclear or fission of another atom. So this process is going on and known as chain reaction, and remaining neutrons will be absorbed by control rod or moderator. The fission fragments resulting from the fission processes are radioactive and decay by emission of gamma and beta rays or alpha particles and neutrons. The neutrons emitted after fission are known as delayed neutrons, and these are important because they permit the chain reaction to be controlled easily. The total energy released due to fission of one nucleus of uranium-235, for example, is 193 milli-electron volt. So the chain reaction is one in which number of neutrons keeps on increasing in geometric progression during the progression till all fissionable material is disintegrated. So I told you that if 100 atoms are there here, so neutron will be bombarded on one atom, then it will have a fission products along with neutron. Again out of these three neutron, one neutron will be bombarded on another atom of nucleus. So this process will continue until and unless there will be a bombardment of neutron on the 100 atoms. So this is what the chain reaction. The ratio of number of neutrons in any fission to the number of neutrons generated in the preceding generation is known as multiplication factor, K. If K is less than 1, then number of fission decreases rapidly and process dies down. If K is greater than 1, then rate of reaction is very fast, or there will be result in sudden explosion, as in case of atomic bomb, and that's why we have to keep it as a 1. K should be 1. Now what are the components of nuclear reactor? First one is moderator. Moderator is used to slow down the first neutron. It may be in the form of solid, liquid, or gas. And these are the every moderator should possess some properties. It should not be costly. It should be chemically stable. Moderators are graphite, heavy water, helium, and beryllium. Then reflector. So it is generally placed around the core to reflect some of the neutrons that leak out from the surface of the core. Reflectors are generally made up of same material as that of moderator. Then coolant. So water may be coolant, heavy water may be coolant, or gas may be coolant. Then next, control rod. The reaction rate, starting and shutting down of reactor is controlled by control rod. So boron steel or cadmium steel can be used as a control rod. Then canning material. The fuel element in a nuclear reactor is put in the can so that fuel does not contaminate with the coolant, and hence canning eliminate the radiation hazards. So aluminum, magnesium, beryllium and stainless steel are the canning material used. Now nuclear reactor is a device in which nuclear chain reaction is initiated. And I have told you the components of nuclear reactor: moderator, then reflector, coolant, control rod, canning material, then shielding. Now different nuclear reactor. First one is pressurized water reactor. So in pressurized water reactor, the nuclear fuel hits the water in the primary coolant loop by thermal conduction through the fuel cladding. The hot water is pumped into a certain type of heat exchanger called steam generator, which allows the primary coolant to heat up the secondary coolant. The pressure in primary coolant loop is typically 16 megapascal, and this pressurizer is used to maintain the pressure in this primary circuit constant. Pressurizer is used to maintain the pressure of, suppose, water. Water is used as a coolant here. So pressure will be kept constant by using pressurizer so that it should not convert into steam. So here you are getting what? Boiled water. So there will be a heat exchange between boiled water and again normal water, which is consistent in the secondary circuit. And because of this, here steam is generated, and that steam will have expansion in the turbine. So this is what about pressurized water reactor. So here we are using pressurizer, that's why it is known as pressurized water reactor. In PWR or pressurized water reactor, there are two separate coolant loop, primary and secondary, which are both filled with ordinary water. So I told you light water or ordinary water is used as a coolant, and here what? Here also secondary circuit also we are circulating water. The advantage is very stable, operating with a core containing less fissile material, and use enriched uranium, ordinary water as a moderator, and enriched uranium as a fuel. Before starting the boiler, water in the pressurizer is boiled and converted into steam by electric heating coil, and pressurizer is used to maintain the pressure of boiled water constant in the primary loop. So in pressurizer there is a steam, and that steam is useful to maintain the pressure constant. That's why it is known as pressurized water reactor. Now what are the disadvantages? So coolant water must be heavily pressurized to remain liquid at high temperature, and water act as a neutron moderator. It is not possible to build a fast neutron reactor with a PWR design. These are the disadvantages. Now what is boiling water reactor? So in boiling water reactor there is a single circuit. So you are generating steam here directly, and this steam will have expansion in the turbine. This is what the boiling water reactor. So I'll read the working. So there is a single circuit of boiling water reactor in which water is at a lower pressure about 75 atmosphere, that is 75 bar, than in pressurized water reactor, so that it boils in the core at about 285 degrees Celsius. Reactor power is controlled by inserting or withdrawing control rod or by changing the water flow. Now if control rod are withdrawn, that is if control rod will be moving up direction, neutron absorption decreases in the control material and reactor power increases. As the control rod inserted, neutron absorption increases and power decreases. Okay. Then you can have a reactor power you can control by changing, that is decreasing or increasing the flow rate. If the flow rate of water through the core is increased, steam bubbles are more quickly removed from the core, the amount of liquid water in the core increases and neutron moderation increases and reactor power decreases. Now if water flow through the core is decreased, steam voids remain longer in the core and amount of liquid water in the core decreases and reactor power decreases. Here reactor power decreases. Why reactor power decreases? Because moderation decreases. Now next is, now steam which is produced in the reactor core passes through the steam separator or dryer plate over the core and then directly to the turbine. So this is what the case of boiling water reactor. Now what are the advantages? Reactor vessel and associated components operate at a substantially lower pressure at 75 bar compared to a pressurized water reactor. Now what are the disadvantages? First is what? Contamination of turbine by fission product, because you are directly supplying the steam to turbine, so it may consist some radioactive elements, so there may be a contamination of steam. Contamination of turbine by fission products. So turbine, again we have to give the shielding to the turbine. So shielding and access control around the steam turbine are required during normal operation due to radiation enters with the steam. So this is what the working of boiling water reactor. Now Candu reactor. So CAN is nothing but Canadian, D is nothing but deuterium, and U is uranium. So deuterium used as a coolant, that is heavy water used as a coolant, and it was discovered or invented by Canadian engineers, that's why it is known as Candu reactor. A reactor designed and developed by Canadian engineers is called as Candu reactor. It uses pressurized heavy water. So I told you it uses pressurized heavy water, that is deuterium, D2O, as a moderator as well as coolant, and it uses enriched uranium mixed fuel or thorium. So natural uranium fuel is in the form of small cylinder pellets. These are packed in a corrosion resistant zirconium alloy tubes in the form of fuel rod. And these short rods are combined in 37 bundles of 37 rods, and 12 bundles are placed end to end in the pressure tubes. So here there is a calandria of fuel rods. The reactor vessel is a steam cylinder called calandria. Reactor vessel is a steam cylinder called calandria. And here you are getting, here it is what? Steam generator. Then there will be expansion of steam in the turbine. Here condensation is taking place. Again here there is a heat exchange between water and coolant, that is D2O, deuterium. So in primary circuit, D2O coolant enters in the array of pressure tube at 260 degrees Celsius and 110 bar pressure. Then it flows through the fuel element, leaves the pressure tube at 370 degrees Celsius for absorbing heat generated by fission, and coolant at 110 bar and 370, then leaving the reactor. So here you are getting 370 degrees Celsius temperature and 110 pressure, and there is an exchange of this steam, that is heavy water and water. So you are generating steam again here, and this steam will have expansion in the turbine. In short, we are using, this is Candu reactor is invented by Canadian engineers, and it uses deuterium as a coolant, and uranium as a fuel. Now what are the advantages? Heavy water use has a low fuel consumption, enriched fuel is not required, cost and time of construction is less, it has a good neutron economy. What are the disadvantages? Heavy water use has a high cost, leakage problem, plant size large, required high standard of design and manufacture and maintenance also should be high standard. Now next is liquid metal cooled reactor LMCR or sodium graphite reactor. So this is primary circuit and this is secondary circuit, and this is again one circuit is provided. So here there are two heat exchangers. The liquid metal reactor is also called as sodium graphite reactor. Sodium work as a coolant and graphite work as a moderator. Sodium boils at 880 degrees Celsius. Sodium first melted by electric heating system and pressurized to 7 bar, and then liquid sodium is then circulated by the pump. In primary circuit, the heat absorbed by liquid sodium in the reactor, sodium becomes radioactive while it passes through the core and react chemically with water. So therefore, heat absorbed by sodium is transferred to secondary coolant known as sodium potassium. So initially here we are using sodium, then here we are using sodium potassium, and then there is a heat exchange between sodium potassium and normal water, light water. Therefore, heat absorbed by sodium is transferred to secondary coolant sodium potassium NaK in the primary heat exchanger, which in turn transfer the heat in the secondary heat exchanger called steam generator. And the steam generated in the steam generator up to a temperature of 540 degrees Celsius for expansion in the turbine. So this is what sodium, here it is sodium potassium and here it is water. Now what are the advantages? High temperature of steam obtained, steam need to be pressurized, thermal efficiency is high, cost of pressure, vessel and piping system reduced due to low pressure sodium in the primary circuit. Disadvantages: sodium react with water and air, intermediate heat exchanger required, increased cost, primary and secondary heat exchangers are needed to shield with the concrete against radiation, and leakage of sodium coolant is highly dangerous. Now next is organic moderated and cooled reactor, OMCR, organic moderated and cooled reactor. It uses hydrocarbon like polyphenyl instead of liquid sodium as a coolant. And polyphenols contain carbon and hydrogen and are a good moderator. So here organic moderated, that is hydrogen and carbon, polyphenol as a coolant is used, that's why it is known as organic moderated. It acts as a moderator as well as coolant. So advantages: compact in design, then use wide variety of fuel like uranium and its oxide or alloy, and disadvantages are low heat transfer coefficient, inflammable and leave slurry deposit on the fuel surface. And last one is liquid metal fast breeder reactor. So here fast breeder reactor is a fast neutron reactor designed to breed the fuel by producing more fissile material than it consumes. In short, here you can see the core of breeder reactor contains fissile uranium and plutonium. Here it consists uranium and plutonium atoms that split easily and release energy as heat and radiation. Neutrons released during the reaction are absorbed by a blanket of fertile uranium reacting the core, surrounding the core, and fertile uranium harder to split than fissile uranium. These are the steps in breeder reaction. Then next is I will read what do you mean by liquid metal fast breeder reactor. So fast breeder reactor usually use a mixed oxide fuel core up to 20% plutonium oxide and at least 80% uranium oxide. The plutonium used can be from reprocessed civil or dismantled nuclear weapon sources. The surrounding of reactor core is a blanket of tube containing non-fissile uranium. So plutonium is surrounded by non-fissile uranium, and which is capturing fast neutron from the reaction in the core and is partially converted to fissile plutonium. So this non-fissile uranium on non-fissile uranium there is a bombardment of neutron and it produces the plutonium, and then plutonium is taking part in the chain reaction. So that's why it is known as breeding. Means you are breeding what? Uranium 238. You are bombarding neutron on uranium 238, then you are getting plutonium, and this plutonium then proceed well with the fast neutron. So this is what about liquid metal fast breeder reactor. So this is all about nuclear reactors, its classification and its working. Thank you.